Picture this. Your phone is buzzing incessantly. It's a relentless stream of emails, messages, and updates, each one vying for your immediate attention. Your to-do list? It's a mile long, a daunting scroll of tasks and deadlines that seem to multiply with every passing hour. And then there's the world outside your window, a whirlwind of news, events, and global issues, each more pressing and complex than the last. We live in an age of unprecedented connectivity, yet many of us feel more disconnected, anxious, and overwhelmed than ever before. It is a world of constant motion, constant demands, and constant chaos. This fast-paced, always-on existence can leave even the strongest among us feeling adrift, yearning for a sense of calm amidst the storm. But what if I told you that there's an ancient path, a way of thinking and living, that has helped people find tranquility and resilience in the face of life's greatest challenges for over 2,000 years? This isn't about escaping the world or ignoring its demands. It's about finding a profound sense of peace within yourself, a peace that remains unshaken no matter what swirls around you. This path is called Stoicism. Not the stiff upper lip, emotionless caricature that the word might bring to mind, but a vibrant, practical philosophy centered on wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Stoicism, at its heart, is a philosophy of personal ethics, informed by a deep understanding of the natural world and our place within it. It's about recognizing that while the world outside our minds is often beyond our control, our inner world, our thoughts, judgments, and responses, is entirely our own. The great Stoic philosophers, figures like the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, the playwright Seneca, and the freed slave Epictetus, each faced their own unique challenges, from political turmoil and personal loss to the trials of daily life. Yet, they found within Stoicism the tools to navigate these challenges, not with passive resignation, but with active engagement and a steadfast commitment to virtue. This ancient wisdom has echoed through the centuries, inspiring countless individuals to live with greater intention, clarity, and purpose. In this video, we're embarking on a journey, your journey, to uncover the secrets of inner peace in a chaotic world. We'll delve into the core principles of Stoicism, not as abstract concepts, but as practical tools that you can apply to your own life, right here, right now. We'll explore how to cultivate a mindset of resilience, how to navigate difficult emotions, and how to find moments of tranquility even amidst the hustle and bustle of modern life. By the end of our time together, you'll have a roadmap, a set of Stoic practices and perspectives that can guide you toward a more peaceful, centered, and fulfilling existence. You will learn how to navigate this chaotic world, not by changing the world itself, but by changing how you interact with it. So take a deep breath, let go of the distractions for a moment, and let's begin this transformative journey together. Let's dive deeper into this journey. We often talk about chaos as if it's this external force, a storm raging outside us. And surely the world can be a chaotic place. Think about the constant influx of information, the shifting landscapes of politics and social issues, or even just the unpredictable nature of everyday life, like a sudden downpour on your way to work, or an unexpected change of plans that throws your whole day off. These are the external forces, the things that happen to us often beyond our influence. They are like the stormy seas that a ship must inevitably sail through. But there's another kind of chaos, a more insidious kind, the chaos that brews within our own minds. This internal chaos is the whirlwind of anxieties, fears, and judgments that cloud our thoughts and stir our emotions. It's the endless chatter of the mind, jumping from one worry to the next, replaying past events, or imagining future catastrophes. It is our reaction to the external world, and unlike the stormy seas, this internal tempest is something we can learn to navigate. The ancient Stoics understood this distinction profoundly. They recognized that while we have little to no control over the external events of the world, we have absolute control over how we respond to them. This is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, what they called the dichotomy of control. It is a simple yet powerful idea. There are things that are within our power, and there are things that are not. Our thoughts, our judgments, our choices, our actions, these are within our power. The actions of others, the weather, the stock market, the passage of time, these are not. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of the most influential Stoic teachers, used to say, "It is not things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things." It's a powerful statement, isn't it? It suggests that our suffering doesn't come from the events themselves, but from how we interpret them, how we frame them in our minds. Imagine two people facing the same challenge, let's say a job loss. One person might spiral into despair, seeing it as a catastrophic failure, a reflection of their inadequacy. Another person, however, might view it as an opportunity, a chance to explore new paths, to learn and grow. The external event is the same, but the internal response, the judgment, is vastly different. Now, to truly grasp this concept, let's consider the story of Admiral James Stockdale, a U.S. Navy vice admiral and aviator who was held as a prisoner of war in Vietnam for over 7 years. During his captivity, he endured unimaginable torture and hardship. Yet he survived, and not only that, but he emerged from this ordeal with his spirit unbroken. How did he do it? Stockdale credited his survival in part to the teachings of Epictetus and other Stoic philosophers that he had read before. He understood the dichotomy of control. He knew he couldn't control the actions of his captors, the length of his imprisonment, or the conditions of his confinement, but he could control his own thoughts, his own responses. He focused on what was within his power, his inner discipline, his commitment to his fellow prisoners, and his determination to return home with honor. Admiral Stockdale's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit and the practical wisdom of Stoic philosophy. It shows us that even in the most extreme circumstances, we have the power to choose our response, to find meaning and purpose, even when faced with immense suffering. So, as we continue our journey toward inner peace, let us remember the dichotomy of control. Let us learn to distinguish between the external chaos we cannot control and the internal chaos we can learn to manage. By focusing on what is within our power, our thoughts, our judgments, and our actions, we can begin to cultivate a sense of calm amidst the storms of life, just as Admiral Stockdale did during his long years of imprisonment. We can't always choose what happens to us, but we can always choose how we respond. And in that choice lies our freedom and our power. Having understood that we possess the power to govern our inner responses, let's lay the foundation for building our inner peace. This foundation rests upon a principle that might seem simple, yet it's often challenging to truly embrace: accepting what we cannot control. You might be familiar with the Serenity Prayer, often used in recovery programs. It goes like this: "Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference." Now, while the Stoics didn't have this exact prayer, the sentiment aligns perfectly with their philosophy. A Stoic-inspired version might sound something like, "Grant me the reason to focus on what lies within my power, the acceptance to let go of what does not, and the wisdom to distinguish the two." This isn't about passive resignation or giving up on our goals. It's about recognizing where our energy is best spent. To truly apply this, let's try a simple exercise together, right now. Take a moment, close your eyes if you wish, and think about something that's currently causing you stress or anxiety. It could be a work project, a relationship issue, a health concern, anything that's weighing on your mind. Now, with that situation in mind, ask yourself, what aspects of this situation are truly within my control? Be honest with yourself. Can you control the outcome directly? Can you control the actions or thoughts of others involved? Perhaps you can control your own effort, your preparation, your attitude, or your response. Write these down, either in a journal or simply in your mind. Next, consider the aspects of the situation that are beyond your control. Maybe it's the decision of a superior at work, the behavior of a loved one, a sudden market fluctuation, or a diagnosis from a doctor. These are the things that, despite our wishes or efforts, we simply cannot directly influence. Acknowledge these too. Write them down. Now look at your two lists. Recognize that the first list, the things you can control, is where your power lies. This is where you should focus your energy and attention. The second list, the things you cannot control, is where you must practice acceptance. This is where you must learn to let go. Letting go is not easy. It's a practice, a skill that we cultivate over time. It's about emotionally detaching ourselves from the outcomes we desire but cannot guarantee. It's about releasing the grip of worry and anxiety over things that are beyond our influence, and this release, this letting go, is incredibly liberating. Imagine carrying a heavy burden, a sack filled with rocks representing all the things you worry about that you can't control. Now imagine setting that sack down. Feel the lightness, the freedom. That's the power of acceptance. To illustrate this further, think about the story of Malala Yousafzai, the young Pakistani activist who was shot by the Taliban for advocating for girls' education. An event like that would cause most to give up in fear, but Malala had a different reaction. Did she let this horrific event silence her? No. She could not control the actions of those who opposed her, but she could control her own response, her own voice. She used her experience not as a reason to retreat, but as a platform to amplify her message, becoming a global advocate for education and winning the Nobel Peace Prize. Malala's story is a powerful example of how accepting what we cannot control, the actions of others, the dangers of the world, and focusing on what we can control, our own actions, our own voice, can lead to profound impact and a deep sense of purpose. Acceptance, therefore, is not about giving up. It's about choosing where to direct our energy. It's about freeing ourselves from the burden of worry and anxiety over things beyond our control. It is about focusing our efforts on what truly matters, on what we can influence, so that we can live with greater purpose, resilience, and inner peace. It is about understanding, as the Stoics did, that true freedom comes not from controlling the world around us, but from mastering ourselves. When we do this, we begin to build that unshakable foundation of inner peace, a peace that can withstand even the most chaotic of storms. Now that we've begun to cultivate the art of acceptance, let's turn our attention to the realm where our true power lies, our inner world. Mastering this inner world, learning to navigate our thoughts and emotions with skill and intention, is the key to unlocking lasting inner peace. One of the most effective tools for this inner exploration is a practice that has gained immense popularity in recent times, yet has roots that stretch back millennia: mindfulness. Mindfulness, at its core, is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment. It's about observing our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations as they arise, without getting carried away by them. Think of your mind as a clear, calm lake. Thoughts and emotions are like ripples or waves on the surface. Mindfulness is the practice of simply observing these ripples, without diving in and getting swept away by the current. By cultivating this awareness, we create a space between ourselves and our thoughts, allowing us to choose how we respond, rather than being driven by automatic reactions. The Stoics, in their own way, were masters of mindfulness. They developed specific practices to cultivate this inner awareness and manage their emotions effectively. One such practice is what's often called negative visualization. Now, this might sound a bit gloomy, but it's actually a powerful technique for building resilience. It involves taking some time to contemplate potential challenges or setbacks that might arise. It is not dwelling on the negative, but mentally preparing for adversity. For instance, you might visualize a difficult conversation with your boss, a project not going as planned, or even a more significant loss. The goal is not to become pessimistic, but to lessen the emotional impact of these events if they do occur. By mentally rehearsing our responses, we develop a sense of preparedness and reduce the shock and anxiety that often accompany unexpected difficulties. Another vital Stoic practice is journaling. The great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius himself kept a personal journal, which we now know as meditations. It wasn't intended for publication, but as a tool for self-reflection. Journaling provides a space for us to examine our thoughts, actions, and judgments. It allows us to track our progress, identify patterns in our behavior, and gain deeper self-knowledge. Ask yourself, how did I react to that challenging situation today? What judgments did I make, and were they truly rational? What could I have done differently? By regularly reflecting in this way, we can learn from our experiences, refine our responses, and cultivate greater wisdom over time. For the Stoics, the ultimate aim of all these practices was the cultivation of virtue. They believed that virtue, qualities like wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, was the only true good in life. Everything else, things like wealth, fame, or even health, were considered indifferents. They could be used for good or bad, but they held no inherent value in themselves. By focusing on developing these virtues, the Stoics believed that we could achieve a state of eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or living well. This state is characterized by deep inner peace, resilience, and a sense of purpose that is independent of external circumstances. It is the natural result of a life lived in accordance with nature and reason. To understand how these practices work in action, let's look at the life of Epictetus, whom we touched upon earlier. Born into slavery, Epictetus faced immense hardship from a young age. He was subjected to cruel treatment, and at one point his leg was permanently injured by his master. Yet despite these trials, he developed an extraordinary inner strength and resilience, thanks to his Stoic practice. He dedicated his life to philosophy after he was freed and became a renowned teacher, emphasizing the importance of inner freedom. He taught his students to focus on what they could control, their thoughts and actions, and to strive for virtue in all things. He used techniques like negative visualization to prepare for the inevitable challenges of life, and he encouraged his students to examine their judgments and strive to live in accordance with nature. Through his teachings and his own example, Epictetus demonstrated that true freedom and inner peace are attainable regardless of external circumstances. His life serves as an inspiration, a powerful reminder that by mastering our inner world, we can find tranquility and purpose even amidst the greatest adversity. Through mindfulness, practices like negative visualization and journaling, and a steadfast commitment to virtue, we, like Epictetus, can cultivate a wellspring of inner peace that will sustain us through all of life's ups and downs. We've explored the power of accepting what we can't control and the importance of mastering our inner world. Now let's delve into how Stoicism helps us not just endure challenges, but actually thrive in the face of adversity. This is where the rubber meets the road, where we learn to transform obstacles into opportunities, setbacks into stepping stones. The Stoics had a unique perspective on adversity. They didn't see challenges as something to be feared or avoided, but rather as opportunities for growth, as tests of character, as the very fuel that forges resilience. Think of it this way: A seed buried in the dark. Cold earth must push through the hard soil to reach the sunlight. It's the resistance, the obstacle, that forces it to grow stronger, to develop roots and eventually blossom. Similarly, we humans are strengthened not in comfort and ease, but through facing and overcoming challenges. The Stoics understood that it's often through grappling with difficulties that we discover our inner strength, develop our wisdom, and refine our character. This is beautifully captured in a phrase that has become a sort of mantra in modern Stoicism. The obstacle is the way. This simple yet profound statement, popularized by author Ryan Holiday, encapsulates the Stoic attitude toward adversity. It means that the very challenges we face are not roadblocks, but rather the path itself. They are the very things that show us what we're made of, that force us to adapt, to learn, to grow. The obstacle is not something to be resented or avoided, but something to be embraced, something to be used to our advantage. Every challenge we face, every setback we encounter, presents us with a choice. We can either succumb to frustration and despair, or we can choose to see it as a chance to practice our Stoic principles, to strengthen our resolve, to cultivate virtue. This idea resonates deeply with the modern concept of a growth mindset, a term coined by psychologist Carol Dweck. A growth mindset is the belief that our abilities and intelligence are not fixed, but can be developed through dedication and hard work. It's about embracing challenges, learning from criticism, and persisting in the face of setbacks. Sound familiar? It's essentially the Stoic attitude in a modern context. The Stoics, with their focus on virtue and continuous self-improvement, were proponents of a growth mindset long before the term was ever invented. They believed that we are all works in progress, capable of continuous growth and development, and that challenges are essential for that growth. To illustrate this, let's consider the story of Helen Keller. At 19 months old, she was struck with an illness that left her both deaf and blind. Imagine the immense challenges she faced, the seemingly insurmountable obstacles to communication, learning, and navigating the world. Many in her situation might have given in to despair, but Helen, with the help of her teacher, Anne Sullivan, embraced a different path. She viewed her limitations not as an end, but as a starting point. She learned to communicate through touch, to read Braille, to speak, and even to attend college, graduating with honors. Helen Keller's life is a powerful testament to the idea that the obstacle is the way. Her challenges, her disabilities became the very catalysts for her extraordinary achievements. She didn't just overcome her obstacles, she used them to propel herself forward, to become an inspiration to millions around the world. Her life embodies the Stoic spirit of resilience, the growth mindset in action. So, when you face your next challenge, remember the Stoic perspective. Remember that the obstacle is not something to be feared, but an opportunity to learn, to grow, to become stronger. Embrace the challenge. Apply your Stoic practices, and see if you can find the opportunity within the difficulty. By doing so, you'll not only navigate the storms of life with greater resilience, but also discover a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment along the way. You might even find that the greatest challenges you face become your greatest victories, the defining moments that shape you into the person you were meant to be. Just as the strongest steel is forged in the hottest fire, so too is our character strengthened and refined in the face of adversity. We've journeyed through the core tenets of Stoicism, from accepting the uncontrollable to mastering our inner world and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. Now, let's bring this ancient wisdom into the practical realm of our daily lives. How can we, in the midst of our busy schedules and everyday routines, actually live these Stoic principles? Let's start with the bookends of our day, morning and evening. The Stoics placed great emphasis on the importance of reflection, and these are perfect opportunities to integrate it into our lives. As you begin your day, take a few moments for a Stoic morning reflection. Instead of immediately reaching for your phone, take a few deep breaths. Remind yourself of the dichotomy of control, what is within your power today and what is not. Set an intention for the day, perhaps to practice patience, to approach challenges with courage, or to act with justice in your interactions. This simple act of setting an intention can profoundly shape how you navigate the day ahead. Then, as your day draws to a close, engage in an evening review. This is not about beating yourself up over mistakes, but about honest self-assessment. Think back on the events of the day. Where did you react in a way that aligned with Stoic principles? Where did you fall short? What judgments did you make, and were they truly rational? What can you learn from your experiences? This practice, done consistently, cultivates self-awareness and helps us to refine our responses over time. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, frequently engaged in this kind of nightly review, examining his actions and striving to improve day by day. Throughout the day, create opportunities for mindful moments. In the midst of a hectic workday, take a short break. Step away from your computer, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Pay attention to the sensations in your body, the sounds around you, the thoughts that arise. Just a few minutes of mindful awareness can help to anchor you in the present moment, reducing stress and promoting clarity. You can use your commute, your lunch break, or any other transition during your day as a reminder to pause and practice. Mindfulness Stoicism isn't just about individual well-being. It also has profound implications for our relationships. When interacting with others, remember Epictetus's wisdom. It is not things themselves that disturb men, but their judgments about these things. Apply this to your relationships. When someone acts in a way that upsets you, recognize that it's your judgment of their action, not the action itself. that's causing your distress. Practice empathy. Try to understand their perspective, their motivations. This doesn't mean condoning harmful behavior, but it can help you to respond with greater understanding and compassion. Finally, Stoicism can be an invaluable tool in decision-making. When faced with a difficult choice, ask yourself, what would a wise and virtuous person do? What course of action aligns with the virtues of wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance? By considering your decisions through this lens, you're more likely to make choices that align with your values and contribute to your long-term well-being. Instead of being swayed by impulsive desires or external pressures, you'll be guided by reason and a commitment to virtue. This is not about making perfect decisions, but about striving to make the best decisions you can, based on the information you have and your commitment to living a virtuous life. Integrating these practices into our daily lives is where the philosophy of Stoicism truly comes alive. It's about transforming abstract principles into concrete actions, shaping our habits and gradually cultivating a more peaceful, resilient, and meaningful existence. It is a journey of continuous practice, a lifelong commitment to self-improvement. We have traversed a significant path together, exploring the wisdom of Stoicism and its potential to transform our lives. But it's crucial to remember that the journey toward inner peace is not a sprint, nor is it a destination with a clear endpoint. It's an ongoing, lifelong practice, a continuous process of learning, growing, and refining our responses to the world around us. It is a path, not a place of arrival. This path requires patience, both with the world and with ourselves. There will be days when you find yourself slipping back into old patterns, reacting in ways you wish you hadn't. That's okay. Be kind to yourself. Self-compassion is essential on this journey. Recognize that growth is not always linear. There will be stumbles and setbacks. What matters is that you pick yourself up, learn from the experience, and continue on your path. The Stoics understood that progress takes time. They emphasized the importance of persistent effort, of consistently striving to live in accordance with virtue, even when we fall short. And as you walk this path, as you cultivate this inner peace, you'll begin to notice its profound effects on all aspects of your life. Your mind will become clearer, calmer, more focused. You'll experience greater emotional regulation, navigating difficult feelings with more ease and resilience. You may even find that your physical health improves, as stress and anxiety lessen their grip on your body. Relationships can become more harmonious as you interact with others from a place of greater understanding and compassion. Inner peace ripples outward, positively impacting not just your own well-being, but also the lives of those around you. As we reach the culmination of our exploration, let's take a moment to reflect on the essence of what we've discussed. We began by acknowledging the chaotic world around us and the internal turmoil it can create. We then discovered Stoicism, an ancient philosophy offering a path to inner peace amidst this chaos. Remember the core principles: the dichotomy of control, accepting what we cannot change, mastering our inner world through mindfulness and practices like negative visualization and journaling, and embracing challenges as opportunities for growth. We've learned that virtue, as the Stoics taught, is the only true good, and that its pursuit can lead us to a state of deep, lasting fulfillment. Now, the journey is in your hands. Start today. Begin with a simple morning reflection, a moment of mindfulness during your day, or an evening review before sleep. Start small, be patient, and remember that every step you take on this path is a step toward a more peaceful and meaningful life. If you are looking for more knowledge about this topic, I highly recommend you read Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Letters from a Stoic by Seneca, or The Enchiridion by Epictetus. These are the original words of the most famous Stoic philosophers. Also, you can check out The Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday, or A Guide to the Good Life, The Ancient Art of Stoic Joy by William B. Irvine for a modern perspective on Stoicism. Let me leave you with the words of the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control, and some things are not. May this wisdom guide you on your journey toward inner peace. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of Stoicism and the path to inner peace. I invite you to subscribe to this channel for more insights on ancient wisdom and its application in modern life. And remember to check out our other videos, where we delve deeper into the practical applications of Stoic philosophy. Until next time, may your journey be filled with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance.